I've been told that this is due to the love Imam Ali had towards these three individuals. However, I've never came across these three Khalifs with kids with similar names. I've never heard any of their kids to be named Ali, Hussein, Fatima, Hassan. So if it was out of love, surely it would be both ways, wouldn't it? If you could shed some light on this issue, please, I'd be very grateful.
Okay, thank you very much. As I said, Sayyid Ammar will be answering your question after the break, so please don't go away. Join us in a couple of minutes when we continue talking about the life of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Assalamu alaikum.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Ahlulbayt Live on Ahlulbayt TV with our guest Sayyid Ammar Nakshawani during this holy month of Ramadan. Sayyid Ammar will be with us for about 4 or 5 days more, so make sure you're watching every night 10 p.m. inshallah. Tonight our discussion has been on the life and times of Imam Ali alayhi salam, if you've just joined us, and we're going to continue with basically answering the question of the caller who called prior to the break, and that was about the names of the children of Imam Ali alayhi salam.
Sure. In terms of the names, there are accounts which talk of Imam having sons by the name of Umar and Uthman. And so, of course, when someone looks at these accounts, you look further into delving for a reason. You know, why would he name Umar and Uthman? And the answers are given by him clearly. In terms of Umar, he named him after a companion of his by the name of Ammar ibn Muqrin, who was, in certain narrations, Salama's son. And this Ammar ibn Muqrin was a commander of the armies of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and even sent towards the land of Bahrain as a leader. And the Imam used to love him so much that he said, I will definitely I will name my son after him. Uthman after Uthman ibn Mad'un, who was the 14th convert to the religion of Islam. And Imam Ali alayhi salam used to say, I love him because in the days of Jahiliyyah, that was a man who never drank alcohol at all, whereas everybody else around him was merrymaking. So when he named his son Uthman, he named him after this person. So these are the reasons which are given as for the naming. And the caller mentions an interesting point as to the irony of the names of Ahlulbayt not being given in other families.
Okay, and I mean, the question I'm going to ask you now, if I'd let you rip, you could be here till tomorrow morning discussing this, and obviously we're very short of time, but does Imam Ali alayhi salam stand out in relation to his military exploits?
Well, Imam Ali alayhi salam, in terms of what was clearly seen on the battlefield to all, was the greatest soldier in Islamic history, without a shadow of doubt. Of course, he himself, we have to put a point, that he himself used to say, when the going got tough, we'd go behind Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. No, without a doubt, Rasulullah's, military prowess, nobody could come near. But in terms of the exploits clearly on the battlefield, what everyone could see, Imam Ali alayhi salam was the greatest warrior in Islamic history. None could come near the prowess of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam from the moment at the age of what? At the age of the heavens came forward and said, there is no youth but Ali and no sword but Dhul Fiqar. At Khandaq, that moment where Amr ibn Widd al-Amiri says, who is there to challenge me? Everybody's scared because this is the greatest Arab warrior known to the people. And the young Ali comes forward. He says to him, what's your name? He says, I am Ali, son of Abu Talib. He said, I won't kill you because your dad was a friend of mine. He said, but I'll kill you because you're the enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he absolutely destroyed him. And then you have Khaybar, the famous lifting of a gate which 40 couldn't lift. At Hunayn, thousands run away, yet Ali with the young Osama and Fadl ibn Abbas and a few others remain standing firm. At Jamal and at Siffin, you know the exploits in the Battle of Jamal and the Battle of Siffin alongside Malik al-Ashtar, ripping through the armies of Muawiyah. So you have this personality, but you have a unique balance. On the battlefield, like we said, he's ferocious and is not scared of anyone who comes in front of him. Yet off the battlefield, you have the most gentle heart of a gentle man, without a shadow of doubt. As in, one narration mentions, after some mention Nahrawan, some mention Siffin, difference of opinion, he comes back and he sees this lady who's trying to, look after her house, and she's, stirring some sort of big pot with water inside it. She doesn't know him. He doesn't know her. He says to her, are you all right? May I help you? She says, no, I'm fine, thanks. He says to her, is everything good in the house? She goes, I'm not happy. He goes, with who? She goes, may God curse the son of Abu Talib. He says to her, what? She says, that man takes my husband and my sons away to war. He comes back alive and they die on the battlefield. That man is the cause of all our trouble. She says, do you see me stirring this pot with the water? He said, yeah. She goes, that's for the children who expect there to be food, but I stir it until they go to sleep, and then I think of the next day. He says, do you mind if I help you? A soldier normally, with his arrogance of being such a great warrior, would come back and say, if you didn't know who I am, let me tell you now, and probably slap or hurt the person in the family. No, he says, can I help you? She says, no, don't worry. He goes, no, let me try and help you with the bread, and I'll collect wheat or collect the flour and so on. So he comes in the morning till the late afternoon, every day, until one day her daughter's returning home. She sees the imam. She sees the imam and she sees the mom. The imam's leaving the house. She walks in. She says, Mom, did you see who was just there? She said, no, just a really good, nice gentleman, very humble person. He's been helping me out throughout the day. She said, Mom, that's Ali ibn Abi Talib. The Caliph said, that's Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, I've been attacking him all this time and this is the way he's talking. So she ran towards him. She said to him, O son of Abu Talib, O Khalifa of the Muslims, please forgive me. I never knew about your character. I just had this idea. He said, no, lady, I want you to ask Allah to forgive me. That just in case I hurt you for a minute in your life, I want Allah to forgive me. I honestly did not mean to take your sons away and, leave you alone in this way. So you find on the battlefield, the military exploits are extraordinary. And, you need 1,000 shows for these exploits. But off the battlefield, you have this unbelievable humility within him.
It's quite a telling story, really. Going back to Khandaq, we know that in Medina at that time there were many sincere companions of Imam Ali, or of the Prophet, of course, because he was still alive, who would later on become very close companions of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Yet we hear that nobody stood up to the challenge of Ibn Wad. How are we to see those companions who we would, have a lot of respect for?
Well, it really, raises question marks about certain people who are later described as being so brave and, they gave everything away to the religion of Islam. That on the day of Khandaq, I know Ammar ibn Wad sounds like a man you don't mess about with, but Ammar ibn Wad himself said something very interesting. He said, you guys claim there's a heaven. If you get killed by me, you're going there. And if I kill you, and if you kill me, you're going there. You'll still be entering that heaven. So what's wrong with you?
Should be a win-win situation.
Should be a win-win situation. Some of them maybe admit, that we're not strong enough, Others, no. Others were behind, not interested in fighting. And Imam Ali 3 times the Prophet asks, and 3 times Imam says, let me go. And he's trying to make the point clear that, look, the youngest of you all here, some of you are 10, 15, 20 years older than this young man. Imam Ali on the day of Khandaq, how old was he? He was 28. It's people in their 30s, and their 40s, and their 50s. So the Prophet was clearly saying, to them that, come on, isn't one of you going to stand up here? The 28-year-old? You in your 30s, what, you can't stand up? But then again, in every battle, it's no surprise. At Khaybar, he gave banners to people who came back without victory. He could have easily given a banner on the day of Khandaq, come back without victory. Only when he said, tomorrow, I will give the banner to a man who loves me and Allah and me love him. When he goes into a battlefield, he doesn't return except with victory. And he defeated the opposition. And one thing we got to remember about Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, if you examine those battles, I'm going to give you names. And these names are of the most ferocious Arabian warriors you're ever going to find. Because at Badr, people like Utbah bin Rabi'ah is not an easy man to fight. At Uhud, you have an army led by Khalid ibn al-Walid. At Khandaq, Amr ibn Wadd al-Amiri. At Khaybar, Marhab and his brothers and the Jewish community who are there. At Hunayn, Malik bin Auf and Uthman bin Abdullah. These are ferocious warriors. Even at Uhud, do you know the beginning of the Battle of Uhud when Abu Sufyan says he's brought Talha bin Abu Talha and his sons. They used to call the son, he's named his sons after animals. One's lion, another's tiger, another's a wolf. And these sons, they're just looking and they're like, who's this Ali ibn Abi Talib who thinks at Badr he could defeat us? Let us loose. One after another, Tabari says. He just finished them one after another. One after another.
Is it about 10 of them or something?
Yeah. All of these. And Abu Sufyan was certain that these guys would destroy Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he finished all of them. So what we're talking here isn't that Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, when he came to the battlefield, he faced normal men. He faced the best of the best in opposition. The people who had it within them, that they had the hatred to finish him. And that's why later on, as one historian put it, Imam Ali's successes in war came back to haunt him. Not in Akhirah. In Akhirah, Allah rewards, but in dunya. Because when Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam says to them, why are you killing me? What have I done wrong to you? They said, revenge for your dad. We want revenge for your dad. What your dad done to our dads, now it's our opportunity. And that's why Imam al-Hussein's killing was gruesome. What I mean by that is, Imam al-Hussein wasn't just beheaded. They made their horses destroy the bones of his body. In other words, there was so much hatred for his dad. And that's why Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, when he stood up in front of Yazid, I am the son of the man who pledged with 2 swords and with 2 spears and went on 2 migrations. I am the son of the man who fought at Badr and Hunayn. Reminding them, that's my granddad who was at Badr and Hunayn. And we're still here and his message remains alive.
SubhanAllah. Thank you very, very much. I think we may have a caller waiting to speak to Sayyid Ammar. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, brothers. Just a question.
Okay.
People say Ammar ibn As was a companion of the Prophet, but apparently in the Battle of Siffin he lived up to his surname. Just wanted to know why Imam Ali didn't kill him. Could you shed some light on this, please?
Okay, thank you very much.
Amr ibn al-As, interestingly, was, all his life, he is in opposition either to Rasulullah or to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. And if there are people out there who are going to look at me and say, Amr ibn al-As, how could you talk like that about him? I beg you, go read your history about Amr ibn al-As. Amr ibn al-As is the man who, when the Prophet sent Ja'far ibn Abu Talib to Abyssinia, he was the man leading the Quraysh. And Amr ibn al-As was governor of Egypt for Umar ibn al-Khattab. When Uthman ibn Affan became Khalifa, he kicked him out. And that's why Amr ibn al-As did not lift a finger to help Uthman when Uthman was being killed. Yet who is the one who later raises the shirt of Uthman at Siffin? Amr ibn al-As with Muawiyah. Because Amr ibn al-As was sitting in the Ajlan palace in Palestine. He had no interest in caring for Uthman bin Affan at all. Uthman bin Affan had kicked him out of governorship of Egypt. He hated him from that moment. Someone could say, no, these are all companions. Ya Habibi, go and read your history. Study history with an open eye. Don't just study it, blindly. These people, Amr ibn al-As, fights then. Okay, you say he loved Uthman bin Affan. Okay. How about when he fought Ali ibn Abi Talib? Isn't that enough evidence that he has problems with the religion of Islam? He fought Imam Ali at the Battle of Siffin. When they came into one-on-one combat with each other, as Imam was to strike him, the hadiths are clear that he drops down, his trousers. Imam Ali, the caller, said, why did he kill him? Imam Ali, very clear. Imam Ali did not kill him because